I do want to dip into the pool of intimacy. I want to dip into the intimacy pool.
Okay, we're there now.
We're there. I just feel like that was a nice little segue into what we think is possible. And I had deleted Bumble from my phone. I said this in my last episode too, and I put it back on, and it's just not yielding. I don't know what I expect, and so I'm wondering what are the ways that we can actually continue to invite intimacy and pleasure and partnership into our lives, and do we really believe we deserve it?
I have no idea what the ways are. I have absolutely no idea. What I know is that I want partnership, even though, you know, anyone who's around me at any moment knows that I'm like, love,
yeah.
That is that outward persona.
Right.
But when I say things like I'm just a girl, that's mostly what I'm talking about.
It's an invitation.
I'm just a girl who wants what girls want when it comes to love and intimacy and partnership. I am by no means politically correct with all the I don't want chivalry. I don't want a man to take care of me. I can't go with that. But to be in partnership with a man, what I would want in partnership with a man when it comes to the quote-unquote taking care of me is that when I come home after being out in the world in the way that I'm out in the world, for there to be a bath or a meal or a show to watch and a foot rub and some really good sex with someone who sees me, who sees the girl.
Right.
So I want my intimacy to be with a man who sees and loves the girl. That's been rare in my life in general, but as someone who is getting older, it feels impossible. Yeah. It absolutely feels impossible, and I don't put myself out there at all for that, because I don't want to be hurt, just like, you know, no one wants to be hurt.
Yeah.
And I feel like that part of me is very, very fragile.
Yeah.
And so where I can bounce back from even some of the more difficult attacks that I've had on my avatar of Mama Nia, I don't feel like I could bounce back from heartbreak in the same way. And so I just pretty much keep that part closed for now.
For now.
For now.
You know, I said to somebody, I feel like I see older Black women sometimes being relegated to a very thin kind of love. So it's a love for their kids, love for their grandkids if they have grandkids, and depending on where you live, maybe it's love for Jesus or Jehovah or Orisha. But it's not like, love is expansive and robust in that there is some good loving, not good loving.
Good loving.
Good loving. Good loving. Fully sit down in some good loving and be like, oh shit. I don't want to follow a path. I want to fall into that trap.
And I do want to work at it because I believe that I can have them. I am, you know, there are parts of me that believes I deserve them. Parts of me, of course, where the insecurity lives that tells me otherwise. But I'm constantly working on unlearning all of these things. And so this is also something that I am unlearning. So, as I said, while I might, even putting this out publicly, allows for everyone to challenge me when I go, love, you know, because they're like, nah, I heard the podcast.
And you said you want some good loving.
You said you want some good loving and that you was just a girl. Yeah. And you want somebody to rub your feet.
And then you're going to be like, damn it on me.
Yeah. So, you know, it also helps me to continue to unveil my humanness and just be honest about who I am.
Right.
So, yeah, intimacy. I am concerned about the Charlie horses.
So we're gonna quickly say something about this Charlie horse, and then I'm gonna ask you.
As you get older,
it's not a game.
It's not a game.
And so
in your mind, you can do that thing you was doing when you was 25.
Ooh, child.
Ooh, Lord, you cannot.
You could.
I mean,
you could,
but you risk a Charlie horse.
You risk a Charlie horse, so unless you're going to like consistently keep some mustard beside you, because mustard will help,
right, with
the Charlie horse, right. To be like, but I don't want to jump on top of nobody and be like, hold up, don't move. My whole thigh has seized up. You can go. I'm gonna slide off, right. And I need you to go downstairs. And I need you to get that mustard. Get the mustard, because I need to eat a whole tablespoon of mustard to work out this damn Charlie horse. Like, I'm not interested in that. Which is another, fear of like performance too. It's just like, I did perform in my 20s.
I did too.
And there were times when I know for a fact I was having not good sex. Did he know?
He absolutely did
not. Absolutely did not.
He was having good sex.
He was having great sex, and I was like, I know I've had sex with people where all I could think was, I cannot wait to tell my girlfriends how terrible this sex is. As like, soon as I get home, I'm be like, girl, this was trash.
Girl,
it was trash.
Tell you.
It was trash. And I also had the benefit of youthfulness, where my body looked a certain way or moved a certain way or I felt a certain way, where I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, now I'm just like, no, I don't want to have any bad sex. I mean, or if we have bad sex because your body does what it does, and if you're in an honest interaction with somebody, you can maybe laugh about it. It was like, well, that wasn't good. We should make some sandwiches.
With mustard.
With mustard. So that way I won't catch a Charlie horse next time you try to give it to me. But I think that now I would be much more honest if I could also push past the fear of getting to a place of possible honesty.
Right.
The same way you talked about the many spaces that are between your public-facing avatar or persona and your girl. There's also, for me, this like, okay, well, if I get through any of this fear or insecurities to this place of intimacy that looks like vulnerability and communication and honesty, I feel like it's going to be great. I just got to get there. So, yeah. But
so for me, I think, yes, my early stages of intimacy, it was all performative for multiple reasons. And it was rare that I got past that performative space to actual true intimacy. And ironically, men didn't necessarily know or understand that we had just crossed over to something different.
Yeah.
Because I prided myself in being good.
Yeah.
Oh, I do this. I'm good. You gonna remember me. You coming back for more. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure that happens. Right. So I'm pretty sure that many of those feats are unattainable today. Yeah. So, and I also don't want to. Again, as I'm saying all of this thing about, unlearning, I do understand the difference, and I don't want to. And so what that means for sex is, I'm like, nah. We're not doing this thing like this. Yeah. We're going to do it. We're going to do it this way.
That's right.
We're going to take our time.
That's right.
We're going to have some foreplay. You just hold on. You're going to be all right.
That's right.
And I don't want a Charlie horse.
I don't.
And I don't. And so you have to understand who I am and where I am. I also think it's also different for me now because, like you were saying earlier, the people be like, I'm fucking Mama Nia. And it doesn't matter what their age is.
Oh my God.
So this doesn't even matter what they're in movement spaces. I'm like, nah, can we not? Like,
please.
Can we not?
Please.
I'm out here leading
a march, a rally,
whatever. And then
action. They were like, yo, I was fucking Mama Nia.
Right.
No, honey, listen, me and you. Right. It's me and you. Yes, I don't like that. Yeah. I don't like that. That also is a place of pause for me. It's like, are you interested in me because you really want to get to know me? Are you interested in me because I'm the only with the gray hair?
Well, it makes a difference for what happens in that moment. Because if I'm saying that the avatars are different, they have different needs, they look different, they sound different, then That's not how I enter into the space with you.
Yeah.
And so it's it's a hard space because I don't know how to necessarily break that down with someone who may not be interested in all of that, just wants to fuck Mama Nia. And, so I'm just cussing. So
it's okay to cuss.
When I was younger, and even now, I had this thing about me because this was Nancy with the eyes and the light skin and the the hair and the this and the that, and so in a different way, pre-movement life, it was still, I was this sort of exoticized. And so I would just be honest. I'd be like, so what you want? You want to fuck me? And they'd be like, what? And I'm like, so don't come at me with what you think that I want to hear. And at this stage, if someone was like, well, I want to fuck Mama Nia, I'd probably be like, nah, that's not what we doing.
No, it's not.
But if you want to get to know Nancy.
Every time you giggle. Like, every single time you have gotten to a moment where you're talking about the girl, you giggle. This is like this it's the sweetness of it all. And there's so much sweetness that exists inside of you. And, and there's so much, I think there's so much sweetness that exists inside of Black women that we hold tight to, because we don't want it to be harmed, or it's been harmed, or we don't want it to be squandered.
Our sweetness is seen as weakness. It's not seen as it's not seen as sweetness.
Yeah. Which
other people are allowed to have.
Yeah.
Our sweetness is seen as weakness, and so it's not treasured.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so it's, you don't want to put that out there when the only thing that's treasured about me is my movement work.
Your forward stance, your ability to get stuff done. Right. I'm trying to flip some of that on its head with some of this stuff we're doing with this podcast to have us really rethink that the sweetness is the strength. I did some photos some years back with a photographer that a lot of people have done work with, and he kind of body checked me on my sweetness thing. He was like, so are you still being sweet? I said, I'm always sweet. He said, no, you're kind.
Wow.
He said, but you withhold the sweet sometimes. And I was like, yeah. He's like, when you withhold the sweet, it'll go sour. I was like, ugh. So he's like, if you don't ever give the sweet as if you know that the sweet is actually power, is strength, is something that's very valuable, it'll sour. And I was like, damn. I definitely feel like there are parts of me where sweetness lives that I'm like, If I show that, people are going to think that's some simple shit. They're going to think that's some silly shit. Girly shit. Like being a girl is a bad thing. Sexy, yes.
Right.
Powerful, yes.
Yeah.
Sassy, yes. Sweet, I don't know about that. And so I'm really trying to rethink the place and the value of sweet. Because I want it.
I do want to say, as you were talking, it made me very emotional. Feel very, vulnerable, and damn, this is so unfair to us for our most tender parts to not be seen as valuable.
Yeah.
That we have to shut off our most tender parts because we have been told that they are a weakness.
Yeah.
And they are the things that if we were able to unlearn everything, that's probably our most authentic self.
I think so. I want to talk to you about rest really quickly, but I think that sweetness gets relegated to youthfulness or when you're much older. So when you encounter a young woman or a girl, you say, oh, she's so sweet. Good. That's a good thing. Or when you encounter an elder who's like in their 70s or 80s, oh, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. And you want to snuggle up against that elder who's sweet. But when you're like, I don't know, in your 50s or 60s, and someone says, oh, sweet. They're like, we mean sweet. Is she simple? So I got emotional too. I appreciate that. And I would like for us to maybe even reclaim something that we didn't even know